Hello, guys. I am Shane Davis, 20-year comic book veteran. I'm here with the beautiful, lovely, sometimes will make me a sandwich, Yanzi Lynn. And today is the day we are talking about Decimated Comics, as this is just in, and I've done signings at this store, but Jim Henley's Universe comic book store in Manhattan is officially closed. Now, I'm pretty sure this shop has moved locations before within New York City, but this time it's down, it's gone. And this is a big blow to the belt for people in the American comic book industry, as I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure this comic shop has been in movies before. So it's a pretty big staple comic book shop in American pop culture. So what does this mean? Why is this happening? There's a lot of questions. A lot of people are going to have good takes, bad takes, and we're going to start with Mark Millar here.
So Mark Millar is informing everybody that Jim Henley's Universe store in the Manhattan branch specifically is closing down. They're saying, yeah, everything is going to be half price. And if you want to come and help us pack up, come and volunteer, please. Now, obviously, some people are going to say, haha, you guys are just going to cling on to this and say, see, that proves the American comic book industry is down. Well, first, let's see how the mainstream is coping with it. You have Heidi McDonald from Comics Beat claiming the reason why they're shutting down is Manhattan rents. Well, that's a very poor argument, because in Manhattan, rent has been increasing so steadily. You hear about a lot more shops closing in Manhattan, not just comic shops, but all kinds of shops. And yet,
and comic prices have been rising, okay, through this time. Historical, it wasn't so many years ago, the basic cover price at DC Comics would hold the line at $2.99. So her argument doesn't make sense then. The other thing is, there's tons of foot traffic in New York City. That's why New York Comic Con is such a big Comic Con. It's just there's foot traffic. This isn't like your strip mall comic shop out in the middle of nowhere that somebody has to drive to. Like, people are walking past it every day to commute. And Midtown Comics thrives, but they also order so much, and they do mail order and stuff like that. Her excuse is, like, there are still people there. Comics cost more than normal. And they're going up. So why wouldn't they be able to afford the rent?
Well, I mean, she's arguing straight away saying Manhattan rent is the issue, and completely ignoring Millar's post over here saying Marvel, DC, and all the US indie companies added together are now 9% of the American domestic market. Oh my God, how dare he speaks the truth. That is a Comics Gate talking point. And the other stat is 79% of the American comic book market, like they like to proudly proclaim, is actually manga. Almost 80% is manga. So 9%, not even 10%, not even 1/10 of the American comic book industry in the American comic industry is actually comics. Think about that. So how do you have a comic book shop sustaining then?
I don't know. Usually you're going to have to, they're going to have to sell other trinkets. They're going to have to sell the Funko Pops, the statues, the Hot Toys.
All right, as a toy retailer, let me tell you guys one thing. Funko market is going down, down, down. I can promise you that. My direct Funko account, let's just say they've gotten rid of wholesale discount, bulk discount. Things are not looking good on the Funko side either. So they have to find something else to sell. Maybe they can reform themselves as Jim Henley's Universe of Manga or something. Who knows? So now people will say, okay, fine. Maybe the American comic book industry, the market share is going down. But isn't there this massive market of people saying, oh, we don't like to buy the modern stuff, we just buy the back issues? Well, the problem is saying you want to just buy the back issues is that the value of back issues themselves have been going down. Probably because of the declining interest in things like the MCU Phase 4, Phase 5, the new James Gunn DC slate, which people are supposedly very interested in, but we're not seeing the turnout at all for some of these newest DC movies. So you can see, at one point, 9.8 grade Submariner #1 would have netted you almost 20 grand. And that was in 2022, by the way, not even 1 year ago. All right. Current value of that same 9.8 comic, it fell 2/3 in 1 year. Think about what a massive drop that is.
And look, investing in key issues is still like a pricey turnaround. You're hoping, if a comic shop is doing this correctly, they're basically doing this off of somebody selling something they don't know the value of, because buying this for maybe $100 or $200 flip, or in this case maybe you lose 2/3 of the value, it's somebody bought one of these things and lost a lot of money. superhero fatigue, all of this stuff, crazy times. The American comic book industry needs to sell new comics. Okay, why? Because that's the cheapest thing that comic shops can buy and turn around and sell and keep foot traffic coming into the store. Now, there is some reasons I think this is happening, and I think we're going to see a lot of this happening, especially going into next year, being an election year and stuff like that. A lot of shops are probably going to start shutting down. We did a video on this specifically, but this Dan Slott tweet and says a lot about this idea that characters can survive bad story runs. Maybe if the character is like 50 years old and people love the character, you can take a baseball bat to the character and it'll still have pop culture relevance, is basically Dan Slott's argument. But there is one thing in his argument here on this tweet that I do think is going to age very poorly, is that the comic book shops have to sell your book to stay open. That's the thing. The character maybe can be the cockroach in a nuclear holocaust that survives, but the comic shops will die. Like, they need a steady cash flow income to hire employees, pay utilities, pay rent. And the easiest way for this to happen is comics you can sell, comics you can read, comics you can enjoy, comics that will bring customers back to the store, not get them to stop coming in and pulling their pull list. And that's another thing. A lot of customers just abandon their pull list, with leaves shops with thousands of dollars of comics that were put aside for customers that just gave up. They just gave up on bad takes on their characters, on writers like Dan Slott blocking them on social media because they don't like gender swap with the character or race swap or something like that. There has been a total lack of respect for the American comic book customer, much less the character, much less the American comic shop retailer. These are things that don't seem to be a concern to most writers in the last 10 years, or most editors that let people get away with this stuff. What if we didn't have comic shops to sell our comics? That should be the number one concern in this distribution of comics. Digital isn't taking off. Digital hasn't taken off. I've had tons of talks with people. I don't think, before people come in on this video and say digital is going to be the future, it never has, never will be. It may be an answer to the companies just keeping their IP out there, but it's not going to be a sustainable market.
You know, all those hot webtoon comics that you hear about, they're all going into print and Barnes and Nobles and Amazon and all that stuff. Print is still considered the ultimate medium for comics and graphic novels, unfortunately. So,
right, manga thrives with hard print books. It's not like people are like, they won't read paper books, things they can hold in their hand. We, the comic book industry, are doing something very, very wrong. And it's a broken model, and it's got to get fixed. The question is it too late? Which kind of looks that way. I want to point out we have like about 15 days on Shane Davis's Axcend Level Up. This is my Spider-Man meets Tron superhero story. We are getting close to $85,000 on this campaign. If you guys will, please go check this out. The link is right down below. You can back us on Indiegogo or 9livescomics.com. And by the way, we do have ready-made books that ship out the next day of Starlight Catson and Glorious Rex on 9livescomics.com. Browse the shop on this website. And I'll leave you guys with a trailer for Axcend Level Up.
I dream of a world carefully crafted, beautifully flawed. This is Axcend. In this game of life, there is one thing that determines a victor. A player's ability to grow. A player's ability to evolve. A player's ability to survive. My name is Dog. Choose to play. Choose to upgrade. Choose to level up. Choose to Axcend.